Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am getting over one hell of a cold. I haven't done a video in a couple of weeks actually. And I'm going to do a video today. This one's actually a pretty easy video, so it shouldn't be too long. And it's basically, I don't know if you've seen the thumbnail, it's about my milk crate for this year. If you own one of these, then chances are you have either a milk crate or you have some sort of a device to hold your tackle, whether it be something as big and elaborate as this, or maybe something small like this. Whatever it may be, we're going to talk about it today. So some of the changes that I made to my milk crate this year, what I have done is I've actually changed the orientation of it. For many years I was keeping it like this. It would be facing the long way, back and forth in the back of the kayak. This year I'm adding a trolling motor to my boat. So to consolidate on space, I didn't want this to be pushed back too far. So I had to switch it, going the long way, or actually going the wide way in the kayak. And doing that left me with some problems. I need at least 5 rod holders on the box itself, because I have 2 on the kayak and I have it on the opposite side that I cast. I don't want to be hitting any of my rods. So I needed to put 5 on here. And to put 5 rod holders in a straight line on here, they would have been so close together that when I would have put the rods in, or when I'm taking them out, the handles would actually hit the other rods and I would pull the other rod out. So I had to come up with a way to make it that 5 would fit in this space, into this footprint. So what I came up with is a half round. So instead of putting these in a straight line, I actually have them now on a curve. And that curve gives me an extra inch or 3/4 of an inch in between the rods right now. So it makes it so I can get 5 on here with this radius. So that's the first thing that I did. And you know, I'll bring you close so you can see exactly what it is. I don't know how well it is showing up in the light, so let me try moving it around so you can kind of see. And what this material is this is 1/2 inch king starboard is what I've used. And it is black. And if you don't have a starboard, you could use wood. You can just paint it. You can actually go to Walmart and buy a cutting board that is a plastic cutting board, and you can kind of use that as the material you need for doing this. So I have it screwed in through the top going in this way, and then I have the rod holders themselves screwed into it this way, and it holds on it's not going anywhere. It's really solid. So that worked out really well. So that was the change that I did for this year, and it's not, you know, it's not a huge change. And every year I kind of been doing little changes on my milk crates. Matter of fact, I can give you some examples here. And every year I kind of do some modifications to this. And the modifications that I do depends on how my kayak is set up for that season. And it does, sometimes it changes with the equipment that I'm using, or sometimes it changes because I get a different kayak. This is changing just because I'm adding a trolling motor to it. And I've done this now for the last 8 years. So 8 years I've been actually fishing out of a kayak, and within those 8 years I have modified and changed my milk crate different ways. I've had it where in the center I actually had a foldable collapsible anchor that actually looks like this. That was one that I did 3 years ago. Last year I added some like a scoop type of thing to it last year. I thought it was kind of cool, and then I also added a battery, which the battery didn't work out because it just took away, it actually took valuable space of having all my tackle in there. So I thought it would be a good idea to have a battery in there with some switches, because I figured I could power my GoPros with it. That was my thought behind it, but it just took up valuable space, and it didn't work out. I never even used it for that. So then halfway through the year, I changed it again. So as I go, I'm learning different things. I'm learning what what my needs are still, and you know, these whole things is just a whole evolution of different things. So let's look inside the box, because there is some changes actually in the box itself. Last year I was using these boxes last year, and I actually bought these from Walmart, and they are Plano boxes, but these boxes don't have any gasket on them, and I was having problems with some of the things in the boxes getting rusty, which is why I ended up buying these Plano boxes. These are the Edge boxes. They actually have gasket on them. And I actually did a video of that. You can check that out if you want to check out what these boxes are. But the other boxes I could hold 10. And with these boxes, because these are actually thinner boxes, I'm able to hold 11. So that gives me even more stuff to cram inside here. And let's take a look. Let's go through the whole entire thing. We'll start off with the lid. The lid is a piece of 1/8 inch acrylic, and it is in this smoked color. The reason that it is this particular color is the first one I had, you know, I'm going back 7 years ago. Actually, it was probably 6 years ago, because I at one point in time I didn't even have a cover on it. The first cover I put on a milk crate was a clear cover, and the sun hitting it turned it into a greenhouse. There would be condensation on the bottom of it. So since then, I always made sure that the acrylic that I put on my box is always a dark color to prevent the greenhouse effect inside here. So if you're adding a lid to it, you should do the same thing. Get something that is a smoked acrylic or smoked gray. Just don't get a clear. I do like the fact that you can still see through it. So this is smoked gray is actually what it's called. And you can still see through it, so I can look into it and I can see all the boxes without even opening this up yet and get an idea where they are. Opening it up, all the boxes are displayed really nicely. I have labeled every single one of them so I can easily pull them out. And the other big change they did on this box, it's actually a couple seasons ago, is that I actually raised the bottom up by putting a couple of rails in it. And the reason that I done that is these boxes are this wide. You can see they sit like this inside here. If I just put the boxes down inside here, they'll actually sit 3 to 4 inches into the box. That 3 or 4 inches is valuable space. And I wanted to be able to use that space without having my boxes in and then throwing things on top of my boxes. I want my boxes to be on top, and I can just take my boxes out and at whatever's at the bottom. So let me show you what's at the bottom. Okay, these risers here are holding the boxes up high. And they're flush to the top of this. And what I'm able to do with that is I'm able to hold things in the bottom, things like this. And I put things down here that I normally wouldn't use all the time. So I have tools in here. I think every person who has a kayak should have one of these waterproof boxes that have a couple of screwdrivers, some zip ties, things like that. I have some hand wipes, and I have bug spray, and I also have some UV. These are just extra things that as far as those things I just mentioned are extra in here. I usually have those in the trunk of my car, and when I go out fishing, I spray myself with bug spray and UV. So these are just extras at the bottom. And it keeps everything organized and simple. And I've actually even put on top of these rails here, I actually put a strip of gasket on it. And the reason that I put the gasket on it is to stop the boxes when I put them in from sliding. Because the gasket actually stops them from doing this back and forth. And it makes it a little bit more quieter. But mostly I did that because otherwise what happens is that the boxes do a lot of this. That eliminates that, the gasket. And everything is screwed together with stainless steel screws. I have stainless steel I have stainless steel screws here in the sides, which is holding these rails on. There's plenty of holes on this thing because this thing's been modified like crazy. I've had this exact milk crate now for the last 4 seasons. On this particular crate, if you notice how it's actually sitting on an angle like this. The reason it's sitting on an angle, the bona fide that I am using has the tank well is on an angle like this. It's on an angle like that because the scuppers, where the scupper location is, any water that gets in there, it kind of accumulates to forward of the boat, which puts this on an angle. So if I didn't have that spacer on there, this whole thing would be sitting like this. So by adding this little spacer here, a little block, I eliminate the fact that it's sitting on an angle. So when I put this on the boat, it actually sits level. I do have stainless steel hinges. They do have covers on them. I also painted them black. And these hinges I've used for, like I said, I think I had this probably 4 seasons now, and with these same hinges. And how I mounted the hinges onto the milk crate is, again, I used a piece of king starboard. I screwed the hinges onto the starboard, and then I screwed into the milk crate into the starboard this way to hold it in place. And you can use like a piece of wood, you can use a piece of cutting board, whatever you may have available in your home. If you're using wood, just make sure you paint it and protect it somehow, otherwise it's going to expand, contract, and probably crack on you. So that is it for this year's milk crate. Hopefully you got some valuable information from this, and hopefully this will help you with your milk crate project or whatever project that you may be working on. So as usual, thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Bye.